Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and today I'm doing a video on Jim Steranko's Outland. Let's see, it was an adaptation that was done in heavy metal. It was done serialized. So in doing this, you probably won't get the tension that was in between waiting for one issue to the next. Alien was done the same way, right? Steranko is famous, of course, for Nick Fury's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He then went on and had this out before, but it's not now. But he did one of the early graphic novels, Chandler, which would be in the same sort of heavy metal type format, different from comic books. And that's what I did. I did this before. I put it back. There's other volumes you can get on Steranko. This funky one, the graphic Prince of Darkness, Steranko. And I think it's also, I'm not sure if this was considered, I thought I was trying to find Tales from the Edge, but this might be the same thing. Read this as kind of a interesting sort of book, having Steranko's work. And it's kind of printed, a lot of different graphic things done with all of Steranko's work, and this kind of wacky sort of film-like printing. And then if you want another history of Steranko, this Steranko Noir is one of the best on him, right? Steranko Art Noir, right? Has a Chandler character. It has all his history with it's a dual language version. And it also has a piece from Outland in black and white. So I think Red Tide, which I showed you, Chandler, they've been talking about reprinting that. Outland is something I really wish they would reprint, but it hasn't happened yet. So let's get on with the talk of the film adaptation of Peter Ham's Outland that starred Sean Connery, right? So I found these pics online. At some point I just had to have it, so I bought the issues. And if they don't ever give me a edition and I have to get the foreign language one, I've already bought one foreign language for Art Adams. I saw the volume I want for Outland, but I'd love an English version. But anyway, let's go through it. This is the starting image of Outland, right? Which is basically these terraformers, and they're out in space. Sort of similar if you've seen Alien, they kind of have like space truckers. So these guys work out in space, and it's very grunge, but this doesn't have a monster. It just has to deal with greed and sort of corporate business. And in this start, we have these workers, and you can see the station up in the top right-hand corner. Now we're going to kind of toss out some storytelling stuff for this, right? Because you'll be reading, you open the magazine, the first thing you would see is this guy working on something, but it kind of looks like a gun, but there's a lot of tension. Steranko decided to go for the clear sort of things, so these guys will be a little more clear as far as when he's working on it, and it has this cool effect of black and white to having the mask on, right? But it's kind of going right to left, where you kind of supposed to go left to right, but it's kind of, I think there's it's kind of utilizing the comic book format and just saying, you know what this is. So kind of have fun. So it's interesting how he kind of deconstructed everything for this volume, whereas the suspense is in the close-up, but the suspenseful panels are on the bottom, where you see this person is going out and he opens up his helmet, which ultimately kills him. And I think Steranko effects for the deaths have been a little better than some of the stuff we see in the film. But overall, it is a good film to watch. If you liked Alien, it's kind of in that vein. It's kind of done with some realism. There's no monster on there, so it's like really on this sort of place on this moon where they're working and terraforming and whatnot outside of that planet. So you can see the planet that was on the first page is here, and now we see a close up of that moon. So it's interesting because it's kind of a cavern. So it's kind of working this thing out. So either this is a cavern, or at the same time this is them working on the land. So it's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. How he's working out this, and it's like I think Terry Austin said sometimes, like they said, Marshall Rogers sacrificed storytelling for a cool shot, and that's very much here. Now, this is kind of just a setup thing right here. So this is Sean Connery's character is introduced. Even though the thing has happened, there's not much he can do right now because the body has been totally destroyed. It blew up in his spacesuits. So we have Sean Connery, who is O'Neill. We have Peter Boyle, who is Shepard, who's behind him. Now, Shepard kind of runs the station and is running very well. And he's kind of has them where he's like, hey, talk to me. Shepard's like, talk to me. So you kind of have this where it's just like a quick shot to set up basically the boring stuff, right? But we get this good, nice shot of Sean Connery. It's kind of established some things of character. But in this thing, so at the same time, these are very much great plates. But as kind of get you through this, I'm gonna just go through and explain what's happening. So, but it's just gorgeous to look at, right? Right. So it's mainly show you that, but then here, this is the greatest page, right here. There's some other really good pages, but this one, storytelling wise, really works. It's going, left to right. We have these guys working in their spacesuits, and this one Steranko is taking off the helmets, right? But someone's in the airlock, and we see it slowly close, and we see him explode, and it's like, I think they kind of, well, did they? I think this is one of the best ones no, there's other things in here where they translated very well, but you really got what was going on here. Some other stuff I will have to explain to kind of get through it, but this one works really well. Right, so then they're talking to the doctor. Steranko didn't have to worry about her likeness in this. So they're kind of talking about what's going on. There's no signs of why these two people would actually, go kind of nuts, right? And the doctor is kind of cynical and everything because everyone's out here for money, whereas Marshall is kind of really stiff, right? So we get to establish her in this. And then we have this moment whereas in the movie, they establish his wife and kids early on. And at this point, she's left him and just left a video, right? But Steranko has done the mise en scene and just set up this beautifully so you can get the tension of him in a dark place in his life and his wife being sad, having to tell him that she had to leave the station. She couldn't stay anymore. And she took the son. And he's at the crossroads where they're not really running things. And we'll find out more about his character, but he lost his wife. So at some point here, we're starting off, and you don't see it here, so I'm obviously going to describe it in the captions. But in the movie, someone has taken the drugs in their bed, and then they've chased after. There's prostitution on here. There are dancing girls. Every vice is on this thing. And now we're going to find out about the drug scene on here, right? So it's done very realistic kind of space truckers, right? So they're going after, they know something's going on, so they come after it. The Marshall and his men are going after this guy, and he's trying to kill this woman, right? So obviously he's taken this drug, which we don't know what it is. You see the grade up here, so this is when keep in mind There's so many storytelling bits in here with this stuff on the panels, right? But at the same time, you have this gate here. So Steranko has made it so you have this air vent over here, this guy at the vent, so this guy about to stab the girl, comes out of the vent, right? He turns, so this person's turning this way. You see the shot, and then O'Neill comes in. So he staged it differently. But we see the guy just kill the person, but it looks like the girl's in danger. But in the story, it's a little more like Sean Connery is kind of talking him down. He got him. He hasn't killed her. It's a long scene. The other guy is going in through the vent in the movie. And then when he goes in, he sees the guy come into the room before they open the door. He comes at the other guy with the knife, and the marshal's second man kills the guy. And Sean Connery's character, the marshal, does not like that his man has killed this guy, right? You see, he's trying to like shades of what happens. And you saw him turn to me, right? So they do an autopsy on the girl at the same time, and she is passed, and we got some cheese. Turns into a cheesecake scene, right? But at the same time, they're trying to find the other body, the guy, and like saying they can't do an autopsy, right? So I'm gonna slow it down. So O'Neill finds the body, right? He finds the body with actually the girl isn't dead. The girl isn't dead. And here, she's just injured and she's getting checked on her wounds, right? And she's got some wounds, but she's not dead yet, right? But they have to find the other body. So sorry, I mixed it up, but it looks like she's dead there. But right, so but he's going for mood. So some of the things he's going very shorthand, trying to tell the story in a short amount of time. Where he's taken, I guess, 24 pages. He's taken the 48 pages and he's kind of condensed it into right. And you see this face. This face kind of tells you what he was trying to do. He said, this artist Dan Atkins. He had a picture of someone who was drawn perfectly, and then over time there'd be more like shards and go in harsh lighting as it went on to show how a person went too crazy. So he liked that last shot. So he's trying to use that for his art. And you can see it's kind of stuck with him after he did this. So you can see it in the Superman piece that he did too. Not as harsh, not with what they call a chiaroscuro in space. I think that's what they say in this volume here in Art Noir, right here. But they examine it by doing an autopsy. They see the regular things in here, some things, but nothing. But then it's like they find this thing. It's polychlor or something or another. This thing is like speed. It kind of makes you work faster, but at the same time, it kind of makes them go a little crazy. So this is how their productivity has gotten so up. So obviously, this is what he's trying to stop, so this cannot keep happening, right? So at the same time, this panel is great because it kind of shows you that Sean Connery character up top, O'Neill, is all by himself, whereas Shepard, who's running it, who's allowing these drugs to get on here, he's with people, and he's going to set up Sean Connery's character. He's going to get these two guys to. He's hoping someone can take him out in the ship, right? So, but he's still got the business going. He's not going to let them stop. He's not in fear of him at all, right? So, so then he's talking to the guy who shot the guy who almost killed the girl, his partner, and he's like saying, basically asking him, "What will you be there to help me?" Right? And he's not sure he can choose. He's trying to trust him. But then we have this shot. It's like so amazing. Like this scene, even though the movie is shot really nicely, like this scene is shot really, is staged really well in the comic. Right. So like, I would definitely recommend checking this movie out. If you like Alien, it's kind of like that. It just has a slow period in the towards the end, but that's supposed to add to the suspense, right? Because it's supposed to deal with space in real time. It's kind of realistic, right? So here he's watching. And he's watching things going on through his cameras and whatnot, and trying to see some more things. So he spends a lot of time looking at these cameras, like a CCTV, to see what's happening. And he sees someone going after some selling the drugs, so he's chasing after this guy. They get into, like, if you see the movie, it's a long chase scene. They run through all these stairs and whatnot, and he gets into this thing where he finally stops this guy. But it's a long thing. No one comes to his aid. And so after a long chase and a long scuffle, he catches this guy. Now, Steranko has done a real shorthand for this next scene. When he captures him, you see him in handcuffs, but then they put him in the airlock. They put him in this zero gravity with a spacesuit. And he's supposed to stay there. That's sort of their jail cell. But we see Sean Connery's character gets to see that he leads to his friend to be like, don't let this guy get out. Yeah, but in here he's already dead, right? Right. So one of the things, I think when I put it to music, you can feel the suspense. But, and then this is, if you open up the magazine, this was the opening shot because you see the title Outland written and illustrated by Steranko. He's searching through where they have the food and obviously just like cow meat. And in there, this guy attacks him and chokes him out. He seemingly dies. The guy goes and finds the drugs, and Sean Connery character gets up, but he has like a plastic collar that protects him from being choked out. All right, so that's like the only gadget that's been used here. Oh, oh man, I got the right spoilers on this. All right, so he meets back with Shepard, and Shepard is playing golf in the station, and they're having this talk, and he's trying to get O'Neill to be on. Say, are you dumb? Is that dumb? Basically saying he's dumb for not going on there. And he's like saying, "Hey, these two guys are gonna come. You can't do this. So more people are gonna come back, right? And you don't have anybody on your side, right?" But he's like, "Nope. But if I stop you, then they'll come after you, right?" So Shepard's still believing that he's got, two mercenaries that are coming, so they don't have to worry about anything. So now he's just trying to do his work, and he's working on, work on stuff at the same time. But you add to the tension here. This is a great shot here. This is like the whole thing. At the same time, he talks to his wife. His wife is like, "You should leave the station." She thought she was leaving him because it was over, but she's like, "You should come back." And somebody's like, "Nope, I have to deal with this here." So he's going to stay. He has one friend in the doctor, but at the same time, these assassins are coming on the shuttle. You see, it says 74 minutes, so he has all this time to wait for his death. And this, like, is one of the cops that's working with him, but it's to add the tension. You see him sweating and whatnot. Right? And then, what else is happening here? And this is the actual ship that's coming, right? So in the movie, I think it's like 30 or 40 something hours, but they sort of play this out in the movie for a long time. So Steranko is playing it out where we see the ship coming, we see O'Neill kind of preparing, and then all these people get off the ship, right? And then we have this chase that's going on. He's being chased by these guys, and takes out. I think he takes out one of them, right? There's like a chase that's going on. He's running through corridors trying to get them to go, and think in the rest of this, he's about to get killed easily, but the doctor in the movie, doctor comes and helps him out, right? So then his plan is to get the other guy. Gets the other guy to go towards the greenhouse. And from the outside, um, the guy shoots and basically kills himself, right? In the movie, he might have tried to, I can't remember, right? But when he thinks he's scot free, there's another person. You see the shadow that's in this corner here? There's another person chasing him. So it wasn't just two. It was one of his co-workers, the black dude who we saw before. He's up there, and they're out in space fighting. And it's a trying thing, I guess, on the solar panels that we would see on the satellite and whatnot. And I don't think it's as graphic as here, but at the same time, as they're falling down, they're not on one level, they fall down a couple levels. And that's how Sean Connery's character gets an edge. And but he survives it, but no one, only one person, the doctor, came to his aid. And what else is happening here? And then he goes, he comes back, talks to the doctor. So this establishes the doctor was on the side with this one shot. Comes to the bar, everyone's surprised to see him alive. We know that Shepard is screwed because he's not getting those drugs back, right? But then Sean Connery, even though he has no one on his side, he still punches Shepard when he walks out. And then, of course, he's going to meet with his family. And that's how it ends, right? So there you go. So I mean, as a movie, it's a fun movie. You should check it out. As an adaptation, if you have to, you do what I did. You can see it online, or you go by each of them, and then you secretly plan to you plan on can I show you any of this? Oh, I should have put this in there. It starts out like this. That's amazing, right? It has a little talk about what Steranko is doing. So at some point, for some reason, this is I mean, heavy metal's got some nice stuff in it. You also have stuff from Cody Starbuck is in there, Howard Chaykin is in there. I think I was trying to see if that was just the intro to it. So anyway, I guess that's about it. Spin the rack out.